did record the whole record in my living room, and it was basically like what we had to do. You know, we didn't have a record deal, we didn't have anybody giving us a penny to do it. We just had a will and a passion to get it done. And you know, my living room, it's not a recording studio space. It's got wood floors and plaster walls. It's not sonically correct as most people would consider. So, you know, rather than fighting that by trying to put blankets and soundproofing up, we just said right away that we're gonna let that character and that signature of that room be another presence on the record. So I had this one crappy old little microphone, and rather than trying to close mic everything, what I did was I just did far miking from everything, and sometimes very far away from any instrument, where I would basically let the organ or the bass going through an amp swirl through the room and let the room really sort of enhance the sound. And what happened was, when you put all the layers on top, that density of that room sound just got wider and deeper and deeper. And that was one of the things I think that really helped to give this sort of life and this warmth to the record. Also, using this old mic that just sort of had a natural, darker sound to it, wasn't like a bright, modern microphone. And then one of the other things I didn't use almost any EQ on a lot of stuff. I just sort of found the instruments that naturally spread across the frequency spectrum. Rather than trying to dial them in, and just find the few elements that fit those couple pockets that needed to, and then I didn't really touch them that much. And I think that those techniques really helped us to be able to get that Motown sound. When we're tracking the drums, literally one mic like 4 feet away from it or slightly away from it, which is a classic sort of like Motown technique for getting drums. You know, just one mic on the drums, and you just kind of compress it a little hard, and you get that rawness to it that makes those songs so memorable.
This kind of resurgence of good music, I should say, you know, music that is not necessarily just about the kind of what you can do in the studio. It is refreshing. You know, the actually very first time I heard bands like Poets of Rhythm coming out of Germany and Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, when I was actually in Germany, it was the first time I ever heard her band. It was just like, wow, somebody like this exists, and they are not, you know, from the Motown period, or they're not from that area of Stax, you know, like, and they're doing this music and they actually can sing. Wow, you know. And I think that's what's been happening for groups like ourselves with, you know, these, you know, younger people, this younger generation of people that are looking for something more than the Britney Spears, more than Lady Gaga. They can appreciate that, but then they can also appreciate this and this new take on this sound that they'd probably never been introduced to before. And I think it's great for artists like us, because had this resurgence not occurred, had, you know, bands like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings not hooked up with Mark Ronson and created the sound for Amy Winehouse, there probably would be no us, you know.
Yeah,
we would not be accepted the way that we wanted to in the States. Probably overseas it'd be different, you know. And it's a beautiful thing to, you know, be at home and be in your country and being respected as musicians who are worth their salt, you know. And I just love it, and I hope it continues. I hope people are not afraid to take that leap and do something that is really genuine and just be themselves creatively.
You know, in one regard, it's easier, you have more access, but at the same time, you're fighting against 100 times more information that's out there, and everyone has an even shorter attention span than they had 10 years ago. So it's a blessing and a curse all at the same time. What I believe in from doing this and having this experience now is that you can do that stuff, but if there isn't the interest or something driving people, you know, a tree can fall in the forest and no one will hear it. So there's got to be a certain amount of awareness, and, you know, you also have to be patient to literally build that you know, from 2 fans to 100 to 1,000 to 20,000, and keep having those connections. I would say that the internet is pretty incredible when you do have a certain amount of following. We did a kind of semi-secret show in Toronto. They, you know, we basically, through word of mouth and tweeting it and spread it, we got almost 1,000 people there over a 24-hour period. So that is the power of technology for sure.
The Beta 58 for me has been amazing. Just even having a cordless mic, having a wireless mic that belongs to you, and you don't have to like worry about people's germs on the heads of them. But you know, generally what I found was that it actually really worked well for my voice. It was the perfect mic, and I tried the KSM as well as the Beta. You know, the Beta 58. I've tried the regular 58 before, and this one just really sits better for me. Just, you know, sonically, it just sounds a lot better. I mean, it's, you know, it's the mic everybody uses.
It is the standard.
It really is a standard mic.
The 58 is what I've always sang through at almost every single venue I've ever played in. So to have my own and it be wireless, you know, because not everybody does the kind of show we do where there's that much movement. But for us, it became really important to move to the wireless system because I found that I was spending, I'd say, at least 15% of my show energy literally managing the
mic
of my microphone, tripping over it, getting it tangled, and really just taking away from my ability to engage with the audience. So to have complete, you know, untethered, walk anywhere I want. I can even go into the audience with it, which broadens even more our way that we engage with audiences. It's life-changing for me, really.
I just had my first show with them yesterday, and it was just unbelievable how much more I can actually get out of my monitor system. You know, like I'm now able to have James, our saxophonist, in my head, and you know, have him at a volume that's manageable, and you know, knowing that I can control my own setting. If something's a little bit too low, I can just turn myself up. It's, you know, it's really great, and had a really great time being able to walk across stage without my microphone and still being able to hear my tambourine being played, and you know, not overplaying and not over singing, and it was just really great. It's been a phenomenal experience just having that freedom, you know.
Yeah, and for our sax player James as well, he's got the wireless clip-on mic for his tenor mic, and last night was the first time he used that, and it instantly changed the dynamic of our show and took his ability to be even more of a performer than ever before. You know, he was able to engage with Joe, our bass player, in a way that he never can because he's always married to the mic and the mic stand, you know. Yeah. So it was really fun. It was a pretty special night in that regard.
And I like the sound quality and my headset, just because you're able to really get a good blend of all the, you know, the instruments and stuff like that. So it's good.